Weybridge, Woking, Cobham, Chobham, Hersham and Horsell. This is Radio Wey, your station, your community.
Supporting your community. Radio Wey.
Well, it's gone 9 o'clock. This is the Blues Session. And keep me company between now and 11 o'clock tonight is myself, Martin Clarke. And what a wonderful show we've got tonight. I should say it's an amazing show tonight. 3 guests in the studio, 3 for the price of 1 tonight. We're joined again for the second time by Lewis Cohen, the aficionado of the national guitar. Robin Beebe, who's a legend in his own right. I meant that most sincerely, Robin. And also Fran Leslie, who is the editor of Blues in Britain magazine. Welcome along to you as well, Fran. Of course, the contact details, studio@radioway.co.uk, telephone 019 3287 4433. If you're dialing from outside the UK, it's +44 1932 874433. I know that because I had some listeners in Atlanta yesterday. Is the fact that I believe this is the first time these two gentlemen have ever played together. So it's a first for radio, it's the first time ever. Let's get on with the show, shall we?
Listen local, listen live, listen live.
Well, there you go, that's a track from Ollie Brown, and the title track of the album is called Open Road, another one I've been playing recently. Check that album out, it's a very, very good album. In fact, he's playing at Charlotte Street Blues tonight, and if it wasn't for the fact I was sitting in the studio here with you, I would probably be there myself, watching the guy play live. So I've missed out on that tonight, so never mind. But what I have got, to compensate this completely and entirely, is sitting opposite me is a lady by the name of Fran Leslie, who is the editor of Blues in Britain magazine. Good evening to you, Fran. Thank you for joining Radio Wey.
Thank you for having me here, Martin.
That's good. Where should we start? I suppose the most obvious question is Blues in Britain magazine. What's it all about? What's the aim of the magazine, if you like, in the blues world?
We have a mission statement.
You do?
Blues in Britain is about, it's about live blues, and it consists of reviews, live reviews and recorded material. Sometimes it's CDs and sometimes DVDs, and interviews with artists who are currently either in Britain or touring. So it's news, reviews and interviews about the blues with a 4-page gig guide to blues events in the UK.
I've noticed that.
And it's read by people who go out to live music.
Okay. I think I include myself in those people then. So regularly go out for live gigs. The magazine itself is always full of information. I mean, that gathering of information, that must be pretty hard work. I mean, it's obviously not just yourself at the magazine. Have you got a team, a small team of...
Very small, yes. Sometimes it feels like it's just myself. My background is I'm a graphic designer.
Okay.
But John Taylor, our reviews editor, is an amazingly good guitarist with a knowledge without which we couldn't function. You know, he's got a mine of information. And then we have reviewers who are basically the readers. They go out to a gig, they send in a review, or they take the camera, they send in a photograph, or sometimes both. And without them, nothing would happen. Right,
okay. So there's not a team of reporters, but you're relying very much on your readership, if you like, to feedback, to give that information, if you like, for the reviews.
But they all know more about it than I do.
Okay.
You know, people. I met one reviewer came up from the West Country, Malcolm Quigley, and I really didn't know him from Adam. I meet him sometimes at festivals, but you know, he was telling me things. And I feel ashamed because I know so little. But I was once told off by somebody who said, "What do you mean you've never heard of so-and-so? And you call yourself the editor of a magazine?" And I sort of did a long list of all the millions of things I do, you know, keep up the members' database and, you know, count the cash and all that sort of stuff. And reviewing copy and chasing the errant apostrophe around. And I said, I know nothing about the blues. If I need to know it, you should tell me.
There we go. And that's how it happened.
Yeah. Wow.
There is so much to know there, isn't there? I mean, I said to you earlier before we came on air, I've only been playing with the blues, if you like. I could describe it as that since March last year. And I'm scratching the surface because all the time people are saying, well, have you heard this? Have you heard this artist? Have you heard this particular track? And I'm saying no. So I suppose I rely on magazines like yours to inform me and to educate me, if you like. But this is all current blues, or do you touch on some of the what I'd call classic blues as well?
Well, obviously I like the whole range, but I did a bit of research when I took over the magazine, which was in '97, and I looked and I realised that most magazines represent the interests of the recording industry, and nobody is out there plugging the live gigs, and the live performer. And it's an area which really needs a lot of help.
Absolutely. I mean, especially with these economic times that we're in now, and I know a lot of venues, even locally to here, have been struggling. I mean, Half Moon, I think, was under threat of closure, and
No, that was the Brewers wanted to turn it into a gastro pub.
Oh, was it?
It wasn't closing at all.
Misinformation, then.
But, they're daft. I was there a week before last, and there were 180 people on a Tuesday night.
Right.
To see the Martin Harley Band.
Okay.
And all of them singing along. And I'm thinking, it was a cold evening. They would have been lucky if they'd had 4 tables if it was a restaurant, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Excuse me. But the live music scene is struggling then, you think, at the moment?
No.
No, you don't think it's struggling?
Really not struggling. It was under attack for a while because... I don't know whether this is true. Somebody said Rupert Murdoch wanted to get sport into pubs because he could make money out of it. And so they had to get rid of music in pubs to make space. And there's going to be an article in the next issue of Blues in Britain, an interview I did with Lord Tim Clement Jones, the Liberal peer, who's responsible for culture, media and sport and probably a lot of other things because the Liberal Party is a bit small. So. But he is campaigning to resurrect the 2 in the bar principle, where you can have, without so much as a wink, you can have a couple of guys playing acoustically or with low levels of amplification and not have to have any kind of licensing at all. But he would like to get venues of up to, say, 200 people capacity exempted from having to apply for these draconian licenses.
Yes, there is a petition on Facebook at the moment. Well, there's a link to the petition on Facebook to 10 Downing Street, I believe.
Yes, it's one of the government petitions.
Yes, that's right.
And one of the things that people can do is they could sign the government petition, because if the government thinks there's votes in it, they'll go with it. If the other thing that Lord Clement Jones suggested, we're coming up to an election. And it's quite likely, isn't it, that you'll be pestered by people saying, will you vote for me? And we should all say to them, oh, well, what are we going to do for the live music? And then they'll think, oh, maybe this matters.
It matters a lot.
I know. But MPs just, hang out in pubs. They don't have any... Well, they watch football. I've been in the Houses of Parliament several times. And, what do they do for entertainment? They watch football. So, of course, they don't understand about music.
Or the annunciator to see where they should be when they're not.
Radio